Today we have a 2023 Cadillac CT5 V Blackwing. Now, back in 2021, I reviewed the CT5 V, and while it was a decent car, my conclusion was that there is nothing special that would differentiate it from German rivals, which, no matter what you think, have a huge market share in the segment of performance midsize sedans. The Blackwing, though, is a completely different story, and to give you a better understanding of what it is, let's start with some technical data. Under the hood sits a hand-built 6.2-liter supercharged V8 producing 668 horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 659 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPM. The engine features a high-output 1.7-liter supercharger, aluminum cylinder heads that are stronger and handle heat better compared to conventional aluminum alloy heads, titanium intake valves, and a wet sump oiling and vent system with an external oil separator and drain back. You get two transmission choices, a Tremec 6-speed manual and a 10-speed conventional automatic that my tester had. Based on GM's Alpha 2 architecture, the Blackwing features McPherson struts in the front and a 5-link suspension in the back, combined with magnetic ride control dampers. You get staggered Brembo 6-piston front calipers and 4-piston rear calipers as standard, and for $9,000 you can upgrade to carbon ceramics. Now, that's a brief overview of technicalities, and you probably want to learn how this thing drives. No worries, we'll get there. First, let's jump inside and talk about the interior space. I don't want to spend too much talking about the cabin, but I gotta admit, it's a mixed bag. On one hand, the fit and finish is good and you get some carbon inlays, but at the same time, some plastic elements look like they were taken straight out of a Chevy Cruze. I mean, they're alright, but you would expect more from a luxury product, especially if you compare the Blackwing to rivals from Audi, BMW, or Mercedes. But then, given the performance that this thing offers, I can care less. In terms of technology, you get two displays. A fully digital, customizable gauge cluster which can display various vehicle information and allows you to select different themes. The second one is a 10-inch infotainment display, which is pretty much the same thing that you can find in other GM products. The OS is extremely easy to use and you can control it either via a touchscreen or a knob placed in the center console, which, as an opponent of touchscreens in cars, I really appreciate. The front bucket seats with heating, cooling, and a simple massage provide an impressive support thanks to adjustable side and seatback bolsters and are impressively comfortable. Now, moving to the back, there is a decent amount of legroom, but the headroom is a bit compromised due to sloping roofline. The trunk offers 11.9 cubic feet of space and you can fold the backseat down for longer items. Alright, so that was the interior of the CT5 V Blackwing. Let's get it on the road now and see how it drives. Driving the CT5 V Blackwing is an incredible experience, but I have to be honest with you. I cannot tell what it's like to drive this thing on the limit. Why? Because you get an insane amount of power from that V8 going to rear wheels, and it's basically impossible to push it hard on public roads. The cold weather and a set of winter tires during my time with the car didn't help either. What I learned about the CT5 V Blackwing is, without a set of good rubber that's up to the temperature, you're losing grip like crazy. The traction and stability control are very preventive when fully on and help you control this beast, however, that results in cutting off power. But despite not being able to push the Blackwing hard on my favorite back road that you see here, I can share some of my impressions. First, the handling. For something that weighs over 4,000 pounds and has a big, heavy V8 up front, the CT5 V Blackwing is surprisingly neutral and well balanced. You obviously have to keep in mind that you have a heavy front end, and in tight corners the car will understeer if you're carrying in too much speed. And if you're too aggressive with the throttle, it will become tail happy, but thanks to all inputs being very precise, operating the gas pedal and steering wheel properly will let you get out of the oppression. Speaking of steering, it is very direct and responsive, but for a high-performance car, I would expect more feedback from it. It's a different story when it comes to brakes. They inspire a lot of confidence, even when cold. You get a great feel from the pedal, and if needed, you can adjust its sensitivity via drive modes. The biggest highlight of this car though is the monster that sits under the hood. A 668 horsepower supercharged beast that powers the Blackwing is a masterpiece. It's very charismatic with an amazing progressive power delivery, and the straight line speed is insane. It takes no time to hit 3-digit numbers, and it feels like the car has endless amount of power and it's ready to accelerate without any effort at any given speed. In my tester, the motor was paired to a 10-speed automatic, and I was slightly disappointed when I found out that I wasn't getting a manual, but I must admit, the conventional automatic works great. It's very smooth for everyday driving, and when you switch to one of the performance modes, it's lightning quick and super responsive to both upshifts and downshifts, working almost like a dual clutch unit. Now, let's be real. The Blackwing will not spend most of its time on a track or a curvy back road, but on the street, so is it a good daily? Absolutely. The suspension and comfort mode does a phenomenal job soaking up road imperfections for a performance-oriented setup, and I cannot complain how the car rode over crappy Jersey roads. Add a very well isolated cabin to that, and you get a fantastic Grand Tourer, which is also well equipped with driver assist features. You get an automatic braking with pedestrian detection, front and rear parking sensors, following distance indicator, lane keeping assist, and blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. If you opt for a $900 driver assist package available for cars with an automatic transmission, you will get an adaptive cruise control and reverse automatic braking. Sadly, no Super Cruise, but do you need it in a Blackwing? So that was the most hardcore variant of the Cadillac CT5. With everything we covered, let's jump to the conclusion. I am incredibly grateful that I had a chance to spend a week with a CT5 V Blackwing, and it's one of those cars that I will remember forever. It's an incredible piece of machinery representing the pinnacle of GM's engineering, and it has a dual personality that many buyers want. It's an absolute beast when you drive it aggressively, and as I mentioned, you will not be able to use its full potential on the streets. At the same time, it's also very refined on daily basis, making it a great Grand Tourer. Pricing starts at around $93,000 for a variant with a 6-speed manual, and an automatic transmission is a $3,200 option. My tester option with an upgraded leather, 10-speed automatic, and a driver assist package was priced at $101,275. If you wonder how I would spec out my CT5 V Blackwing, click the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.